Good morning, everyone. How are you today? I hope everyone is doing well today. We are students of English Literature from State University of Yogyakarta, and we would like to present our book report on Diary of a Wimpy Kid, Rodrick Rules. Before presenting our presentation, I would like to introduce the members in this group. I, Urathul Khairani Harahap, as the moderator and first prisoner, I will lead today's presentation. The presentation will last approximately about 15 minutes. We have Nasywa Nurjadwa as the second prisoner, Musyarifah Khairunnisa as the third prisoner, Eni Irnawati as the fourth prisoner, and the last prisoner is Pramudya Yunan Abimanyu. Here is the table of contents. As you can see, there will be 9 aspects we will talk about in the presentation. We have theme, setting of place, characteristic and characterization, plot of summary, figurative language, point of view, life lesson, society background, and table of issues. Now we are going to talk about the theme. According to our group's point of view, we conclude that there are 3 themes of this book. The first theme is siblings rivalry, which can be described from Greg and Rodrick's relation. Rodrick, as an annoying brother, always treated Greg arbitrarily in every case, whether inside the house or outside. For instance, when Rodrick always forced Greg to do everything he wanted, and he didn't even show brotherly affection to Greg. The second theme is kinship, which can be described from Greg and his family and friends' relation. Greg's parents always took good care of him and his friend Rowley, who always did good deed to him. However, Greg still found that his parents have a great deal of control of his life. Also, his classmates, who bullied him several times due to trivial things, Greg struggles for his due rights and find a place in a social order that respects him. Therefore, we decided to set a third theme which called as survival. The next prisoner will be Nasywa Nurjadwa. Miss Nasywa, time is yours.
The next point is setting of place. The first place is in a car, second is swimming pools, and next is swimming pools toilet, next is school hallway, next is classroom, and then Hifli's house including kitchen, living room, bedroom, and home yard. Next is Rowley's house, and the last place is Grandma and Grandpa's house. We move to the next point, which is characteristic and characterization. The first character is Gregory Hifli. He is the main character in the story and the second son of Hifli family, which has a shy nature and always obey orders. He is also a bit silly and shabby. Sometimes he likes to prank his classmates. He is also often being cornered and oppressed because he is very innocent. The second character is Rodrick Hifli. He is the first son of Hifli family. Because of the age that is quite far from his brother Greg, he always acts arbitrarily and is mean to him. Unlike Greg, he is a talkative and sociable person, also a negative character in this story. The third character is Manny Hifli. He is the youngest son of Hifli family. He is a toddler who has a smart and cunning brain. Whenever he made a mistake, he always blames his brother Greg and built such a kind of excuses. For example, he said, "I only 3," which means he was just an innocent cute and 3 years old toddler. He's just as same as his oldest brother Rodrick, who always treats Greg arbitrarily. The next character is Mr. Hifli, called as Dad. He is a very high suspicious person, but also has loving towards his children. Unfortunately, he often melts with his children's requests, even though it's not good for them. The next character is Mrs. Hifli, called as Mom. Same as her husband, she always loving, suspicious, and care towards her children, but also very strict with them, such as when she made Mom box rules for Rodrick and Greg. She spoiled many more. This probably happened because Manny is a toddler and youngest son of her family. The next character is Rowley. He is Greg's best friend who often follows Greg's style in daily life. He even wants to do Greg's orders and work without any excuses. He is even more innocent than Greg, and he could lie for anything. The next character is Chirag Gupta. He is Greg's classmate who was go back in school after a year. He is a patient person. When he was being played by his classmate that he was invisible, he just avoided it and not angry at all. The next character is Greg's grandma. She loves all of her grandchild, but her favorite is Manny. She displays many pictures of Manny in front of the refrigerator as proof that Manny is her favorite grandson. The next character is Greg's grandpa. He loves spending time for watching TV, which exactly is just the security camera that oversees his building's lobby area. Greg is his favorite grandson, so that he loves making jokes, playing some game, and sharing everything with Greg. The last character is Bill Walter. He is 35 years old man who joined Rodrick's band as the lead singer of the band. He joined the band just because he was got voted as the most likely to be a rock star in high school. So, it can be seen that he is a slightly useless person. The next slide will be presented by Musyarifah Khairunnisa. And the next slide will be presented by Musyarifah Khairunnisa.
And the next is plot summary. The first plot summary is the exposition. Gregory Heavily, or commonly called Greg, is the middle child in the Heavily family. Rodrick, the other son, always looks for loopholes to humiliate his younger brother Greg at every opportunity. Greg also always feels whose all activities, always controlled by his parents. He is also included in various additional courses during summer vacation. There is not much he could do except just obey his parents' word, accept all the rules and treatment of Rodrick and the innocence of his younger brother Manny. Raleigh Jefferson is his best friend who is always by Greg's side in the face of various causes that occurs. The second plot summary is rising action. Susan Heavily wanted her home to be filled with peace, serenity, and concord. This is contrast to the reality, because every day there are always quarrels between Rodrick and Greg. Therefore, their mother decided to make a rule so they both can involve in the same thing in order to reduce the intensity of the commotion at home. Their mother named it Mumpox. However, not all of these regulations run smoothly. Next plot is climax. Rodrick throws a party while their parents are out of town, and Greg breaks the Mumpox rules. This is something that is forbidden by his father and mother. To cover up the incident, they are compact to cover each other's mistakes. Rodrick gives Greg various rules so that his parents don't know what they did wrong. However, time passed away. Their mistakes were discovered by his father and mother. They were sent to his grandfather's house. Rodrick was not allowed to perform with his band, and Greg had to stop playing video games for a while. Rodrick felt very angry and upset that his dream to perform with his band had run out. He also feels betrayed by Greg for leaking the secret between them, so he more intense disturbed Greg at his grandfather's house. The next is fallen action. Greg also feels guilty to Rodrick because he is the cause of Rodrick's not participating in the event with his band. He persuades his mother to allow Rodrick to stay in the race by offering himself to be Rowley's magic assistant, which he doesn't like. The last part of plot summary is the resolution. His mother also allowed Rodrick to continue performing with the band because Greg had shown some form of responsibility for his mistakes and affection. The Heavily family also enjoyed all the sequence at the events. Even though they did not win the competition, their parents were still proud because there were other lessons their children had learned. Figurative language. There are some figurative language used in this book, and the first one is idiom. Cramps it down my throat mean to force someone to accept something unpleasant. Kissing his butt meant to flatter someone in an obsequious manner and support their every opinion to gain favor from them. A grain of salt means to view something with skepticism or not to interpret something literally. And the second figurative language is simile. Sort of like how moths get drawn to a light. And Mom has a memory like an elephant. And the other figurative language used in this book is hyperbole. Like a tornado had touched down. The point of view. Jeff Kinney used first-person point of view to set this book. The story is talking about Craig's daily life, such as his problem with his family, friends, neighbors, and his school life. From Craig's diary point of view, most of his problems come from his brother Rodrick and his family rules on their home.
Next is about life lesson. From this story, the life lesson we can learn is not to lie because in the end, the lies we make will just trouble us. As we can see, Gregory often lied to his mother, and when his mother found out that he lied, he had to deal with punishment. The story also taught us to be a brave person. We may not let anybody intimidate and do everything they want to us. We have to fight and speak up for that. We also may not take advantage of the situation we think will benefit us, because no matter what, it is not justified. As you can see in the story, when Gregory did not tell his parents that Roderick held a party in the house because he thought he could see the Walsum in the party and could have fun too. But he ended up locked in the basement, and when his parents knew there was a party, although it was not Gregory's fault, but he still got the punishment. Next is about society background. The background of the society in the Wimpy Kids book is not shown clearly because the main story is focused on Greg's family. From them, we can see that parents make their rules to rule their children. Their children also do it, although they do it with a little bit of force. For example, the rule about not allowed to watch TV before doing the dice. Parents are also overprotecting their son. We can see from Greg's family that are very protective of many. Little children are also more appreciated. We can see from the part in which Greg needs to sell chocolate by Roderick's instruction for fundraising. No one appreciates and buy it. When Roderick sent many to sell it, they responded with a positive response. Next material will be presented by Eni.
The next point is about table of issue. It contains some power relation that we found in the book. The first one, we research on power relation domination. The first category is adult being jealous. We put the picture from the book from page 4. From the picture, Rodrick seems dislike and jealous to see Greg swimming award. In fact, Greg was not happy with the award because being on the swim team was worse, so their thoughts are very contradictory. The second one category is children being ignored. The evidence, we put quotation from the page 7. And he wouldn't let me sit up front. He said the chlorine would ruin his seat. It represents that Rodrick disagreed about Greg's request and opinion when he asked Rodrick to sit up front. The next is children being cheated. The evidence from this category is Rodrick told me we were gonna need more tables, so I went downstairs to get them. But as soon as I stepped foot in the basement, I heard the door lock behind me. So the interpretation from this quotation that Rodrick cheated Greg into the basement to get more tables, which he was about to lock him into. Then is children being oppressed. We put quotation and picture for the evidence for this category. The interpretation of this picture and quotation that Rodrick fakes Craig and pushes him to get Craig's journal. The next category is children being regulated. We put the picture from page 6. It represents that Craig is regulated by his mom and it seems like annoying him. Craig also looked like he was being forced to wear short trousers because of his mother's order. Then is children being controlled. The first one from this category, we put quotation from page 13. The rule is that we are not allowed to watch any TV or play video games until all the dishes are done. It have interpretation. Their mom made rule that Rodrick and Craig forbidden to watch TV before they finish to wash dishes. The second one in this category, the quotation, he said if I didn't help him clean up the mess, he would tell all my friends about the thing that happened to me this summer. It has interpretation when Rodrick threatened Craig that he would tell all Craig's friends about the embarrassing thing happened to Craig this summer if Craig didn't help Rodrick clean up the mess he made in the last night party. So it can be put in the subcategory children being threatened. The last one, still in this category, it has subcategory children being overprotected. As evidence from the picture, it have interpretation that Dad made Greg join the swim team in the summer again. However, Greg seems like objected getting his father's choice. The next category is child is dependent. The quotation for this category is from page 47. Rodrick don't really care about the mistake, so he tells Ted to just type paper like it is. But Ted can't stand typing a paper with errors. So he just reverts Rodrick's paper from scratch. It represents that Ted always helps and rewrites Rodrick's papers because there were a lot of mistakes, and because of that he always got good grade. The next category is parents being tricked. First, the evidence states Rodrick brings his graded paper home and acts like he did it himself. So the interpretation, Rodrick tricked his mom that he got good grades by his own work. Still in the same category, the second one, we find the quotation and the picture in page 127. Then I'd go up to my teacher and say, listen, I just want to tell you I have a class eye. So don't go thinking I'm looking at other people's papers. It has interpretation. Craig is trying to cheat his teacher that he wears a class eye as a name that he doesn't get caught when looking at his friend's paper. Later, the category is children cannot be trusted. It fits in the subcategory children cannot be trusted by their parents. From the first picture, the interpretation is the fathers paid Craig to feed their dog, but Craig left her on the fire floor for the 2 weeks. Therefore, they seemed very mad at Craig when they reached home with a horrible condition. Then, the Rodrick has a huge party when his parents left house for a while, and he turned the house into a complete mess which took Craig by surprise. Is the interpretation from the second pictures. Both of the picture are the evidence for this category. Next category is child being ignored. We put quotation from page 68 that states my plan was to just hide in the pulpit and stay there until the party was over, but some other kid was already in there. It represents that Craig found a kid in the pulpit and the kid was not from Rolly's party. It had been an hour after the previous party over and nobody realized it. Also, the kid's parents didn't notice that the kid was left behind. Later, children are given punishment. The evidence is, well, I ended up getting a bar of soap in my mouth for knowing how to spell a bad word, and Rodrick got off scot-free. It has interpretation that Craig was punished because he knowing that the way to spell a bad word. At first, Greg was just wanted to complain that Rodrick said bad words, but they just got him into trouble and ended up getting a punishment. It seems like an unfair thing for him. Then parents being over suspicious. We find the evidence from page 118. It have interpretation that Craig's mom is really suspicious to know what exactly magic and mother's game is. She even thought that this game is a kind of witchcraft which led to the violence. However, in fact, this game is just a real game. Well, the next material will be presented by Pramudya.
Next category is children being avoided. The evidence is pictured on the page 9, and the interpretation is Greg is being avoided because he got the cheese touch in the last week of school. Even though Greg had completely forgot about it, his friends still avoiding him and afraid of him. And next category is children being avoided, with children being played by others in the subcategory. The evidence is so I made a big show of counting everyone in the room except Chirac. Well, that really set Chirac off. On the page 55, the interpretation is Chirac was being played by Greg and his classmates. Greg did it because he thought it was fun, like his mother did when he was a little. Actually, Chirac didn't like the jokes and feel like that's a kind of crime between friends. Next category is children being obsessed. The evidence is lately, Rowley has been totally riding me. He reads the same comic books I read. Mom says I should be flattered, but to be honest with you, it's totally creeping me out. On the page 71. And the interpretation is since Rowley started to write a diary as Greg did, he imitated everything Greg do. Read the same comic books, drank the same soda drink, etc. In fact, it's really annoying and bothering Greg. Next is egalitarian power relation section. The category is children being appreciated. The evidence is but I did end up winning most improved at the hour bracket at the end of the summer in the page 4. And the interpretation is Mom and Dad were proud of Greg's effort to be better at swimming and won most improved at the hour bracket. Next, the category is children cannot be blamed. The evidence is the picture at page 42. And the interpretation is Mom has always been super protective of Manny and never let anyone hurt him, even though he made any mistakes, such as when Manny broke Greg's stuff and totally made him angry. However, Greg cannot do anything because Mom was standing behind him. Then, with affection, Mom told Manny to say sorry to him. Next category is children being cured. The evidence are on the page 46. The interpretation is Raleigh sitting on Manny's spiky tinfoil ball. Then he came to Greg's house, and Greg's mom healed the injury with medicinal liquid. Next category is children receive affection. The evidence is Grandma always has her fridge stocked with soda and cake and stuff like that. And she has cable TV with all the movie channels at the page 160. The interpretation is Manny was Grandma's favorite. Grandma always had her fridge stocked with a lot of snack and soda, and he also had his own cable TV with all movie channels. Next category is parents being respected. The evidence is tonight, Grandpa gave us our salad and I like I was gonna eat it. But then I just stuffed it all in my pocket when no one was looking at the page 166. The interpretation is Greg acted as if he had eaten food from his grandfather because he did not like it and to keep it from hurting him, so he put it in his pocket. Next category is children are given advice. The evidence is Mom said I should not worry about what other people think. She told me that my classmates would understand that I had just made an honest mistake at the page 211. The interpretation is the rumor about Greg's embarrassing moment is in his grandpa's place. So his mom advised him not to worry about what other people think. Next category is adult and child become cooperative. The evidence is imaged at page 101. The interpretation is Craig and Rodrick worked together to replace the bedroom door with closet door from the basement. Although it's not Craig's fault, he seemed to be trying to help Rodrick replace with earnest. Next category is children being invited. The evidence is Pat Rowley asked me if I want to hang out and play Magic and Monster with him and Leland at page 115. The interpretation is Rowley is inviting Greg to play because Cat has come to his house. It's such a kind of appreciating Greg as a best friend, also a guest in his house. That's all for our presentation. Thank you for your attention and good morning.